Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto Will is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Folks that are just joining, folks that have joined, I ask one favor. Immediately, please do me one favor. If we are going to get that progressive message out, if we are going to make sure that people stay informed, if we are going to make sure to cover all those things that aren't necessarily covered in this fashion on mainstream media, guess what we got to do? We got to go ahead and share. So I ask you so kindly, please share the program. Tiaula Wilson. Tiaula Wilson, welcome aboard to the program. Folks, please go ahead and share. And as you can see on my image there, it's worth it how to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. It's out now. And you know what, folks? Thank you so kindly. Yesterday, I noticed it was rated at 124 or 125 in the policy area, in the political science section of Amazon. And I said, hey, my great people, my great followers, my great members, my great supporters, could you go ahead and bring us up to at least get us into the hundreds? Well, this morning I woke up and we are now, you know, there are thousands of these books put out, but we are numero 94. We are number 94. Can you get us to number 20? Can't you get us to number 9? Can you get us to number 8? Can you? Oh, thank you for reading the book, Marian Castiglia. She says, hey, from Tampa, I'm reading your book and it's good. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so kindly. Folks, please go ahead and let's get this movement going. It's empowering, and we all have to empower each other to get this stuff going. Okay, we're going to get started with the program. We're going to vamos a comenzar el programa ahora. We are going to start the program right now. So, folks, but again, if you're just joining us, first thing to do for me, share, and also remember to talk about these programs because people have to know that they have alternatives that they can go to. Anyhow, what is the program title today? Biden/Harris winning. Trump trying to steal it. Squad sweeps. Ruhle exposes GOP. I did that yesterday. I'm doing it again along with another piece. Pelosi and the media. You know something? A lot of us progressives were saying back in the day, we need to somehow get rid of Pelosi. Not get rid of Pelosi. Pelosi is my Obamacare hero. A lot of folks don't like her. I think she's likely the strongest woman in politics today, likely the smartest, politically savvy woman there is in politics today. She knows her machine. She knows how to use it perfectly. So let's give kudos where it's due. What I would like to see, though, are young people coming up. And that's why I'm so in love with the squad. Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib. And we have more coming on to those groups. But anyhow, we're going to talk about that as well. Anyhow, so the squad sweeps. Ruhle exposes GOP, and Pelosi hits the media. So anyhow, subtitle, Kamala Harris completes the Democratic ticket. Subjects that we're talking about. According to 538, Joe Biden has a substantial advantage. Some would call it an insurmountable advantage, all else being equal. But we cannot assume all else being equal. Donald Trump may be using the post número dos. Donald Trump may be using the post office as one of the tools to try to steal the election. Will we allow him to do that? We don't. I don't know if Brother Bruce is here yet, but Bruce always has that answer. Vote early, vote in person. Bruce, if you're here, throw that back in there. I just want to I want to let folks know that I give mention where it's due, and you're the one who started that, where you tell people, hey guys, you got to go vote. You've got to go vote, and that is what we intend to do, Bruce. We intend to go vote. Third, Pelosi goes on the media and sets the agenda by first using the airwaves before answering the specific question. She found it necessary to change the narrative on Kamala Harris, and she did it beautifully. The squad wins in a landslide, and we talk income inequality from the guy who wrote the book about evil geniuses. So we're going to talk about that. as well. But anyhow, to go ahead and get started, let me go ahead and bring up how Nancy Pelosi handled the media. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side. Once again, Nancy Pelosi effectively used the news media. I want you to listen to this, and then let's talk about it on the other side.
One point that I haven't heard made, and that is that Kamala Harris is not only the choice as a woman of color, she is the best person that Joe Biden could name. There are many people who would do no harm. There are many people who could be president. But to have those two combined with the person he had the comfort level with to serve, it's about governance, as your commentator said. It's about governance. So let's recognize her not only as the first woman of color to be vice president, but the best possible person he could have chosen to proceed into this election and, of course, to win and serve the American people.
That is very important. Many times when there's a first or where there's not a whole lot, the media and people in general tend to simply look at the external. Person of color, the person of color needed to be on that ticket. So we get Kamala Harris. And a lot of times people look at things as mutually exclusive. I remember when I worked as an engineer in several companies, the first thing people thought, quota person, you're there to fulfill a quota. It was never first to say, do you have the intellect for the job that you're doing? Now, by the way, both of those things are not mutually exclusive. It could be that one gets a job in order to diversify the place because they've already had quite a bit of implicit bias bringing people in. But secondly, that person is also qualified. You see what? Many on the right, and including some liberals as well, they make you believe that having inclusiveness or being intentional with inclusiveness mean that those who are included, not of the majority race, somehow are there simply to fulfill that bill and does not bring the intellect along with it, as opposed to thinking it's about time that all those with the appropriate intellect get to serve. Ironically, when choosing Donald Trump, nobody ever simply said, you should not have that job because you're simply too uneducated, too dumb, and not qualified for that job. And even now, the media treats the president as if he is real, as if what he says has some sort of value no matter what. So again, the double standard should end, and Nancy Pelosi did a wonderful job in twisting, in turning the conversation to put out in the ethos what needed to get there before she answered the question that was asked. Yeah, absolutely. So now, folks, if you want to call in, by the way, we have the phones open today. The number is 346-240-7799. The code to get in, 254-600-9091. Again, that is, you know what I probably should do? I should probably go ahead, and I don't know why I didn't put it in the notes already. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole Zoom, how you connect either by phone or if you want to come in via your computer as well. I just placed that information in the Zoom for anybody who wants to, if anybody wants to come in, it is right there for you to see. Anyhow, so that was an issue. They were asking Nancy Pelosi about whether she thought, about Kamala and all of that. But, everybody, we are excited that Biden brought in a woman of color and all that sort of stuff. All of that is quite exciting. But the ball was missed. And I think Nancy Pelosi kind of closed the door there. And when she comes out and she says, look, stop just talking about we bring in a woman of color into the debate or to be the vice president. We brought a woman of substance. We brought an educated woman. We brought a woman who knows how to govern. We brought all these things. So please do not narrow the focus to it being a woman of color. And again, like I said, personalizing that experience, that is a horrendous feeling. And to know that Nancy Pelosi could empathize with that, because being the first, and whenever I hear or others hear, you are the first woman to have done that, you're the first Asian American to have done that, you're the first black person to have done that, or whatever. The question isn't supposed to be, or not, the statement shouldn't be some sort of a overjoyousness of that occurrence. What it should be always is, why the hell did it take so long? Or why does it have to be impressive? We're all human beings. We all work towards. And those are the things that we have to start looking at. These are the things that we have to start thinking about. Okay, moving on to the other subject. Guess what? As it turns out, if you were to take a look at the election today, yes, Bridge, she can empathize because she is a woman. I agree with that. And I'm going to tell you something else. Let me break this and humble myself a bit about the Kamala Harris thing. Kamala Harris was not my choice because I really wanted the ticket to be balanced a bit more progressive. That is the honest truth. Before I continue, I need to read what I posted yesterday on Facebook, because I want everybody to know that we are in this, and we all know what we have to do, and we don't necessarily get the preferences that we want. But I gave an important message, and I'm going to read it because I want folks to understand where we're coming from. I said the following. Para ver. Here we go. We all have a ticket. Democrats have a ticket. I want to humbly give this message to all progressives, moderates, centrists, and patriotic Republicans. These times are existential. I am an ardent supporter and continue to be an ardent supporter of the policies articulated by Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and others on the left as I am. I am not an incrementalist, but I am indeed a realist. I intend to fight as hard as I can and devote from now until November 3rd to get Biden-Kamala 2020 elected in whatever manner I am able to contribute to that task. After Joe Biden becomes president, Kamala Harris becomes vice president, Democrats take over the Senate, and Democrats extend their majority in the House, I intend to fight like hell for the policies we discuss every day on Politics Done Right. So that is my stance. My stance is 100% in, 100% moving forward, but with the realization that when these people, we work hard to get all these people in office, it is then time for us, the progressives, to do the work that we've always said we would do, and that is work for the average American citizen, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. But we first have to have a beginning, a place to start. And that is where I am at right now. Anyhow, so the reason I brought that up is, like I said, she wasn't my first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice. Okay? Now she is the choice. The person that most aligned with me economically was, of course, Elizabeth Warren. And I thought that she would do a great job there. However, there's something that I saw on TV last night that touched the heart. What I saw, when I saw all those women on MSNBC, the black women on MSNBC, Joyanne Reid, when I saw Joyanne Reid and all these other women, the excitement on their face, because it was like, we have continuously worked for the party over and over again. We would like to see sometimes some sort of appreciation. I saw the same kind of feeling that I felt when Barack Obama became the president. Because, and again, I'm a very empathetic person, and I understood that, well, we wanted to have that, we wanted to have a person of color if possible, but it wasn't it wasn't that big for me, because for me, having had Obama, it was like been there, done that. the part that I didn't get right was as far as black women are concerned in saying, yeah, but we want this. And when I saw Joy-Ann Reid and the joy in her face, and when I saw a few other women there and I saw the joys on their face, it was, wow, that is what it's all about. And everybody, I don't care what gender you are, I don't care what race you are, when you saw the face of all those, I mean, it was, you know, I just stayed there and watched it, and I felt the joy for them. I felt the joy for joy, okay? I felt the joy for joy. Because, again, you know, it was so affirming. Okay, I just had to get that off my head. All right, now going to the election and winning the election. Right now, according to 538. What's wrong with my mind? According to 538, Joe Biden really has an insurmountable lead with 80-something days left in the election. That's the truth. However, there are a lot of externalities right now that a normal election wouldn't have to take into account. Coronavirus, meaning we don't know how many people are really going to go out and vote personally, and also having to do mail-in votes and all these. There's all kind of what we call in Panama trampas that Donald Trump is trying to put out there. All kind of barriers he's trying to put up. Trampas is traps. All kind of traps he's trying to put out there, okay? And that is because he runs the executive. And I honestly think that that's a constitutional problem. I think elections should be run by a body of the trio. Our separation of powers should also run elections as a body. I think there should be a body created to do that. Because what we find is that he is going overhill. Yeah, Bridge, I have a story on that after this one here. He's trying everything in his power to actually steal the election. So here we have now, Joe Biden currently has a robust lead in the polls. If the election were held today, he might even win in a landslide, which I've been prognosticating for quite a while. I think he is going to win in a landslide, and I'll tell you why. Post office or not, I think it's going to be won in a landslide for two reasons. A lot of people by then are going to be in such dire straits, they're not going to vote. They're not going to mail in a vote. They're going to be so fed up, they're going to say, let them have it, because he sure is not working for us. They're not going to go vote for Democrats. There are some of my Republican brothers and sisters that are completely anathema to pull in a level for a Democrat. It's sort of, what's that word that they use? It's like sacrilegious, right? But they understand that staying home is an equivalent to a vote for the other side. But our folk, what I've started to see is we are going to vote. Excitement or not excitement, we are going to vote. And that, which means, let me tell you something else about polls that I think a lot of people don't understand. Right now, all the polling's done with what's called registered voters. Okay? Registered voters is anybody that's registered to vote. But near the election, about a couple of weeks or so near to the election, or maybe a little bit longer, they're going to change the model from registered voters to likely voters. And the likely voter model makes a lot of assumptions. They assume that if you voted 2 times before, you're likely to. If you voted in the last 2 elections, you're likely to vote. If you voted in the one election but skipped this one, you're kind of iffy. If you didn't vote at all but you're registered, they don't count you in the likely voting at all. But what are we doing right now as progressives and Democrats? We are registering a whole ton of first-time voters. People that have never voted before. I see people registering who saying, I have to register this time because I'm scared to death of having another 4 years of Donald Trump. Those numbers are showing up right now in the registered voters, but it will not show up in the likely voters. So what's going to happen is on the day all of these pollsters shift from registered voters to likely voters, there's going to be a big scare in America because Biden is going to immediately lose about 5 points. I can almost guarantee you that. If it's a 10-point lead, it's going to go to 5. And the media is going to go out and they're going to say, we're now using likely voter poll, and that's all they're going to say. And then everybody is going to be scared because they're going to say, oh, what has changed? And then the election is going to come and Biden is going to beat the likely voter poll. So what I'm telling everybody here is, and why I ask you guys to share these things all of the times, is that we have to understand how this stuff works so that, one, when the elections start to look like it's close, getting close, but it's not really, but it looks like it's getting close, people get scared. And some people, when they get scared, they don't know how to react. They go up into a ball and they do absolutely nothing, sometimes not even vote. I don't want you to do that. What I want people to be is very informed. I want you to inform them. I want you to share all the stuff that we are doing to inform people of, as far as how these things work. Because that is what's going to happen in October. In October, the model is going to change. So, going back to the poll, let me bring the poll back up. Going back to the poll, what you see right now is there's a 29 in 100 chance that Trump wins. And within that 2900 is Trump stealing the election, Trump making sure the post office don't work well, all those things that Trump can do to try to mitigate the delta, the difference between him and Biden. The thing is, with a landslide, it's like an avalanche. You can't stop it. And what I'm saying is in November, we are setting up for an avalanche. And I don't want you to be listening to Fox News and hear those crazies talk about, it's close. And remember what happened in 2016. 2016, there's not much that happened. I want you to remember this. 2016, you had the Russians help. You had all the miscommunication. You had all the things that could go wrong. You had not attorney general, the FBI director coming out 2 weeks before the election and putting out a message on Hillary Clinton. I mean, you had a whole lot of things happen. And Hillary Clinton still won the election by 3 million votes. And let's be clear how she lost. 3 states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Michigan, she lost by 7,000 votes. As you could see, not Ali Velshi, but the other guy on the TV pointed out, if she had just gone and spoken in Detroit, if she had given Detroit some semblance of respect, she could have pulled those 7,000, she could have pulled another 30,000 votes out of Detroit alone. Not to speak about Lansing, not to speak about all these other towns, cities in Detroit that simply stayed home. They went from 65 or 67% participation to 59% participation. So, to 49% participation. It was ridiculous. So what I'm trying to tell you is this win that everybody's scared about, suppose 2016 happened again. 2016 was by far a loss by hubris and by disrespect for minority communities. That's what lost 2016. And then we go to Pennsylvania. There's Pittsburgh. There's Pittsburgh and the other town. I don't remember. She didn't spend time developing these people. So, of course, what's going to happen? The margin was 40,000 votes. She lost over 100,000 votes that was hers to give if it had gone to 65%. That would have been a win. And let's go to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, had she gone to Milwaukee and given some respect to the folks in Milwaukee, she would have won. So Trump didn't win with all the thievery that went on. She did not win that election. Trump did not win those 3 states. And as you know, we had Greg Palast on before, and Greg Palast already gave some examples as far as how it was stolen. Even with all those things that happened, she really won Michigan, she really won Pennsylvania, she really won all these, if you counted the votes. But again, they were not. So Greg Palast came on my show. He just wrote the book as well, how Trump stole the 2020 election. And it was just a warning book that he did. And, you know, you can go search it here. But it's important that you understand what's going on. We are going to win this thing. We're going to win this thing big because the mistakes that were made, the silly, silly, foolish mistakes that were made in 2016 won't be made again. And instead, there's so much more that we're going to do. I need you to remember some other numbers. There are more registered Democrats than there are registered Republicans. Period. Punto final. Independents right now are driving towards Biden. And the housewives in the suburbs, I'm using that with quotes. Quote, the housewives. You know, Donald Trump still sounds like he's in the 1950s. The housewives of the suburbs are not going to vote for Donald Trump because they're scared brown and black people are going to move into their community in low-cost housing. You know, that it shows you where his mind is. It shows you that he's still that New York realtor who doesn't want to sell to people of color. He shows that he's the same person. He's using the same words in his tweets. So when our Republicans or whatever come out and say, "Oh no, but he didn't really mean that," we have his tweets, and the tweet sounds like it's out of the 50s. The things that he was sued for in New York, that's what he's tweeting. That's what he's tweeting. Okay, so therefore, the win is going to be big. And I want everybody to be prepared. And it's not only going to be a win for El Señor Biden, it is also going to be a big win in the Senate. Some of us at Daily Kos believe we're actually going to net 10 Senate seats. We're actually thinking that we may net 10 Senate seats. I'm not kidding you. We may actually, if this landslide occur as we expect it to, we may net 10 Senate seats. So I want all of you that are listening to me, and by the way, share, guys, share. I want all of you that are listening to me to do one important thing. Keep your heads up high. Talk with a positive nature as you are talking to other people. I want you to do that. It's important for you to keep the head on and talk to people. And let people know, because a lot of folks, the idea that the other side does is they try to depress you into thinking it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause for them. I'm serious. It's a lost cause for them. For us, it's only the ascent. Remember that. For us, it is only the ascent. This isn't talking out of my smoke. Somebody smoking dope and saying this to you. I am telling you this because this is what's in the numbers. The numbers are here, friends. These are the numbers. And when you see somebody like Nate Silver says, even maybe a landslide. Nate, I can say I can say I'm almost sure it's going to be a landslide. Nate Silver won't say that. So what he does is when he sees the 2971, he says, and it could even be a landslide in the words that he takes. Now, what are the caveats? Let's start talking about the caveats. And this is the very big caveat that I'm going to put on the screen right now. This is a caveat. A conspiracy to steal the election. Folks, alarm sound after postal worker removes sorting machines. So if Donald Trump doesn't win, what he wants is chaos. And what he wants is, even if he loses big time, because there's so much chaos with the mail, that we just don't know. So they're taking out sorting machines and they're doing all this sort of stuff to slow down mail. Have you noticed that your mail is not coming in your first class mail is not coming in one day anymore? Have you noticed that? The reason why is this. Thank you so kindly, Pam. The reason why is because they are purposefully slowing it down. Beforehand, I always forget to do this. We're in the middle of the show. We're at 3:31. So let me go ahead and ask everybody here to do one of two things. I'd like you to become subscribers to Politics Done Right. We need subscribers as we talk to you every day about it. So please go ahead, if you will, and subscribe to our show. Go ahead and if you want to become a subscriber, let me put that in here. PoliticsDoneRight.com/Patreon is the way you become a subscriber of the show. If you become a subscriber of the show at the $4.99 level, guess what you get? You get to read It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. That is online. You can read it online as soon as you go ahead and become a subscriber. But not only do you get that, but you know, I've written several books. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen for you real quickly. You get to read all the books. So you can go online as soon as you become a subscriber, and you can go ahead and see, let's get to those books. You can immediately see all our books. And what are the books? It's Worth It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. Let me zoom that up a little bit. Oops, wrong zoom. I think the zoom is right here. The zoom is right there. All right, there are the books. How to Make America Utopia, As I See It, and It's Worth It. You get the chance to see all these books. So all subscribers at the $4.99 level can all read these books online. Alternatively, they're all found at Amazon.com as well. So check it out at Amazon.com. And by the way, yesterday I told folks, hey guys, I'm at number 124, 125, I don't remember. Could you go ahead and, come on guys, get the book. Jump me up into the top 100. And you guys did it. I'm up in I think I'm at 94. But we want politics done right to be numero uno, right? So please, folks, go get the book. It's Worth It. How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors at Amazon. Go get it now, please, por favor. Support it. It's a good, hey, I think Marianne said she's reading it right now, and Marianne likes it. And let me tell you, if Marianne likes something and she tells you she likes something, she likes it. You know, you remember Mikey? Oh, he likes it? Yeah, she likes it. Anyhow, so check that out, folks. Anyhow, going back to the Postal Service. Oh, no, I'm not done with this. I'm not done. I'm getting old. By the way, you can also support us via PayPal. And here's a PayPal address, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can also support us via Facebook, and that is politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. That is politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. And of course, we have a store. You can support us at our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, where we have things like our Politics Done Right cups. We have cups with Ilhan Omar and the squad on as well, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We also have T-shirts with I Support Independent Media on the work. So please check it out and support the show. That is how we are going to inform everybody and not have anybody scared that, oh my God, we just may lose this election. We are not losing this election. We're winning this election in a landslide. There are people out there in the streets working their butts off with masks on. They are there registering people in apartments, registering people in parts of the neighborhoods never been touched before, because everybody understands how important this election is. If we vote, we win. That's an absolute statement. Remember, Donald Trump's floor is under 40%. His ceiling is under 40%. You're going to say, well, I've seen him at 45%. That's not real. His floor or his ceiling is about 40%. If you talk to people, you realize exactly why I'm saying that. Donald Trump's ceiling is only about 40%. And Lord help them. Anyhow, here's the thing that I want to talk about. Our concern now is the post office. And several of our listeners always say something that is quite important. And what they say all the time is the following. Only if you have to, should you vote by mail. Only if you have to. We can reduce the load. Only if you have to is going ahead and vote by mail. But if you have air in your body, in your breath, if you're not sick, put a mask on, put some gloves on, and vote in person. And make sure and speak to those people that are asking you who you vote for. Speak to them as well if they approach you. Speak to them. Because there's going to be a lot of false information out there that's going to try to counter what reality is. When you're a loser, when you can't really win, when you depend on fraud for success, you cannot stop. You have to keep it up. You have to keep the facade on day in, day out, day in, day out. That's why Trump comes out every day and he has another stinger. He has another thing to grab your attention because he has to deflect you from all the evil that he's doing. He has to deflect you from the failure that he has done with the coronavirus. That is the reason he constantly deflects. So if you have air in your body, muscle power, go to the polls. For those places that allow you to vote early, don't wait. Go vote in person where it's comfortable, and we will win that landslide. My prediction is we are going to win Texas and we're going to win Georgia. People say, you are so foolish. If you all do what we are supposed to do, it's not foolish. The votes are there to win it. It's whether we go ahead and take it. Now, here's the story. The head of the Iowa Postal Workers Union alleged Tuesday that mail sorting machines are being removed from post offices in her state due to new policies imposed by Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, a major GOP donor to President Donald Trump, whose operational changes have resulted in dramatic mail slowdown across the country. He's not only do that, he didn't only do that. He also fired all the managers under him. So there, in other words, there's no longer accountability. You know, he doesn't have accountability anymore. Whatever he does, he doesn't have the people won't say, oh my God, look at what's happening. Okay? Now, asked by NPR's Noel King whether she has felt the impact of DeJoy's change, Iowa Postal Workers Union President Kimberly Carroll, a 30-year Postal Service veteran, answered in the affirmative, saying, mail is beginning to pile up in our offices and we're seeing equipment being removed. So here's what they're doing. They're getting rid of certain equipment. They're taking away overtime from these workers. So, you know, I mean, if you ever take a look at the amount of mail these folks deliver, you know that is crazy. You know that is crazy. And folks, if you're listening on YouTube, you can also support the show by clicking on that $ and giving us a super chat. Now, think about this, brothers and sisters. Think about this. You know an election is coming up. You generally don't make serious changes during an election or during when you have something major occurring because you have to get the kinks out. Georgia did that with their voting machines. They installed a completely new set of voting machines just before the election. It makes no sense. But that is what they're doing because they want to create chaos in case he loses, not in case, when he loses, so that even if he has to walk out of that Oval Office in shame, he can say, but the election wasn't really fair, and I am going to continue my movement. And let me tell you what. Let me tell you where they're pivoting. I follow these things online, etc. Donald Trump was investing a ton of money in online advertising and in a lot of different types of advertising. And what I notice is Donald Trump isn't spending the kind of money. He's collecting a lot of money, but he's not spending a lot of money like he used to. And there's a reason why. He knows he's a loser. He knows he's going to lose. But that money is his. So when he comes and he sends all of his sycophants and those people who thinks he's real, I can't fathom why, but I'm only talking like this on my show, but trust me, read my book as far as how we work with folks on the right for real. But he's taking all this money is going to be going in his pocket. Several $100 million that he's collecting will be going in his pocket. And since we know Donald Trump is not a real businessman, we know what's going to happen. He's going to pocket that money, but he also has a movement. Donald Trump is going to monetize his movement. He's going to monetize a non-governmental opposition movement to the current administration. And guess what? It's not going to matter if it's a Democratic administration going forward or a Republican administration going forward, because they would have found their money machine and people that they convinced are aggrieved. And that's what he's working on. It is so clear. If he doesn't have the power of the office, he's going to have the power of the movement. Ironically speaking, it is something like that I had prayed Obama would have done with Obama for America, because he had built a movement that could have been what Donald Trump will be doing after he's kicked out of office. Because Donald Trump has found a way to make money that grows on tree. And those are the people who believe in life as seen by Donald Trump. Life as spoken by Donald Trump. Watch what I'm saying. And watch it happen in 2021 as soon as he has to walk out of that Oval Office. He's going to walk out. He's going to be the aggrieved person. And all those people that are mad that he's gone are going to be right out there. And they're going to be there doing what again? They're going to be doing out there with that new movement that Donald Trump is creating. I know you find it hard to believe, but brothers and sisters, I know what I'm talking about. It is, the pictures are all there, what he's doing. Folks, don't forget, the new book is out. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. Please go to Amazon.com. Just search for that. Or I can put the link in the feed as well. Actually, I'm going to do that. The link is in the feed right now. Please go ahead and get the book. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. And I have a lot of good stories in there as well. I mean, it's, ask Marianne. Marianne is right here. She's reading it right now. So, folks, please, let's stay strong, because I'm telling you how it's likely to work. But we are going to be big winners, and we have a lot of work after we've won. But it's going to be fun, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to do it. Okay, I think I'm done with the post office. You guys know what's going on. What everybody has to do now is call their senator, their congressperson, and say, stop doing to the post office what you're doing. Stop scrapping the post office. Let's get busy and stop scrapping the post office. We gotta be talking right now. We can't wait till 30 days before the election. Because remember, a lot of people also send their voter registration by mail and all of that. And I can imagine a lot of those voter registration cards are going to be ending up in the garbage at the mail. Some of the Trumpites out there may do that. So what I need to remind everybody to do as well is to please, if you don't turn your registration into your county, always go online to make sure that you're registered. Check 60 days before the election. Check 45 days before the election, and check 35 days before the election. Remember that. Check all those days before the election. And if for some reason it's not there, then you walk into that county office. And notice I didn't say 30 days before the election. 30 days before the election is too late. Actually, I should say 37 days before the election is the last time you should check. And you raise hell if they take you off of the rolls. But anyhow, folks, so let's go ahead and talk the other subject now. La otra ahora es Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. I love those women. I mean, that's our future. The squad. Remember, everybody was talking about, it wasn't real. It was a fluke. Ilhan Omar is getting primaried by the Democrats, the base. Rashida Tlaib is getting primaried by the base. Well, not the base. Our base are progressive. Our base is progressive. It's the establishment that isn't. So we got now Rashida Tlaib. We also have Ilhan Omar. We also have AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Interesting. All of them got a primary person who had a lot of money to spend. And the next thing is, all three of them won in a landslide. Thirdly, Ayanna Pressley, nobody even tried to challenge her. So our original squad of 4 is still there. So what I wrote this morning, the squad, the original unabashed young progressive women are all representing their respective districts. They will win in November 2020. While many thought they were easy pickings, their community organizing skills ensured their elections were not even close. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez won her primary by 60 points against a well-financed opponent. Rashida Tlaib won her primary by 30 points against the establishment and well-financed opponent. No one even attempted to run against Ayanna Pressley. Ilhan Omar, with 2 challengers, one well-financed, still won in a landslide. And then there were the establishment slayers. Mary Newman beat perennial centrist right Dan Lipinski. Cori Bush beat the entrenched machine William Lacey Clay. And Jamal Bowman beat 16-term incumbent Elliot Engel. Think about that. Think about that. It's funny. You know what? Mike Cisak, where the hell do you get these numbers from? Oh, God. I just looked at the numbers. Amazing. Amazing. So, folks, the squad did just fine. The squad worked, and their working perfectly. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do the other subject. This one is a video that I need to show you. And then we'll take it on the other side. Now, I remember back in 2016, several of us at Daily Kos wrote these articles about Donald Trump triangulating Hillary Clinton. And that's exactly what he did. And Kurt just said it exactly right.
When did stasis become okay in our country? And when did we become a society by and for the wealthy?
What happened simultaneously was our kind of plunge into nostalgia that happened after the late 60s. But that was weaponized, that nostalgia, and used politically by the economic right, as I talk about in Evil Geniuses. And these guys got together in the early 70s, a decade before Ronald Reagan was elected, to say, let's go back to the old days economically. Back before there was a big government, before the New Deal, frankly, that's when it happened. It happened simultaneously, this kind of plunge into nostalgia toward kind of cultural stasis, at the same time that the norms and the laws and the practices and the regulations, hundreds of them, were changed. And we had this paradigm shift from the New Deal consensus to what I call in this book, the raw deal, that was sort of imposed upon us by 1,000 cuts.
I'm going to read a quote from your book that is designed to and should get everybody's attention. If we fail to reform our government and economy along sensible democratic lines, we might well experience a large-scale populist spasm involving pitchforks and nooses. Just sounds uncomfortable. America could be the first large modern society to go from fully developed to failing. I'm guessing we want to avoid that. I'm also guessing you found a through line to the election of Donald Trump and perhaps to an uncontrolled pandemic loose in what we like to call the wealthiest nation on earth.
Right. We've had this terrible economy for the 80% of Americans for the last 40 years, where median incomes don't rise and only the rich get richer. We know that. But it's so much broader than just that. I mean, that's the leading metric. That's what we call inequality. Donald Trump, one of his brilliant moments of evil genius, when he ran for president last time, he ran as a populist. He ran economically to the left of Hillary Clinton, to the left of any Republican ever, slagging Wall Street, slagging the rigged system. His final ad, I went back and looked at it, just in the last few days. Bernie Sanders could have delivered it, literally. That's what he ran on, and then boom, he gets elected. It was all a fake. It was all part of the act, and he did the bidding of the economic right, the billionaires, the Kochs, the banks, the rest, who have been the bosses of this party for going on 50 years or longer, but certainly the last 40 or 50 years. And his great legislative accomplishment, of course, is a $2 trillion tax cut, most of which went to the wealthy. If that keeps on, if we don't, I think, pretty radically reform our system, as Franklin Roosevelt did to save capitalism from itself, as Teddy Roosevelt began to do to save capitalism from itself, we're not going to save the free market economy from itself. And the greed is going to send us, as you quoted me saying, to ugly populist spasms. It's already sent us to ugly populist spasms, just not yet to that kind of civil disorder and violence, which I think we could get to. And I think that's the inflection point we're at right now.
they go ahead and they campaign with the promises to give you health care and a great economy, and then when they get into office, they go ahead and do the opposite. The problem is, however, that even as they do evil, they continue to hoodwink many people because of our level of information and education. And as much as a lot of these stations now are catching up to Donald Trump, we have to be careful that this is not just a temporary thing. We have to make sure that we keep it going. And I tell you, the only way you're going to do that, though, is with independent media. Because ultimately, at all these stations, these are good people. But they just have to be funded by these plutocrats. And the plutocrats are just going to give them a certain amount of leeway. And my hunch is right now that there's a good likelihood that some of them have noticed things have gone too far. And the only way to rein them in is they're saying, okay, media, new appendage, go rein them in. Folks, we've got to do better. We've got to inform. Independent media has got to inform, and that is what we intend to do. Okay, Mike Cisak is on our page here, basically lying to the audience. And what he does is he puts some of this information out, and it's a classic Trump-type thing, like, oh, Omar kind of hardly won. What I have on the screen right now, folks, is for you to see exactly what we have. If you take a look, Ilhan Omar won in a landslide, 16 points, okay? There we have 57.4% for Ilhan Omar. Antoine Melton Moe, well-funded, only 39.2%, and John Mason, 1.6%. So as it turns out, no, Mr. Cisak, I think your credibility continues to get shot as you lie, as you come here with false information. It's not a good thing to do that, especially in these times when it's not hard to find the information. That's why I tell everybody who listens to me, you don't have to take my word at it. You just have to go ahead and you can look up everything I say. Now, eventually, when you build up the faith or the trust in me, you can say, well, I heard this on Politics Done Right, and you don't necessarily have to check it. But then somebody checks you and says, I'll go check it, keep you honest. So it's important for us to understand, Mr. Cisak, you're simply wrong as you're usually wrong, sir. So given that you're wrong so many times, maybe it is becoming the time for you to jump on the progressive bandwagon where truth is told, don't you think? You and I should have some of those talks that I have in my book, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. All right, let me salute my brothers and my sisters that are here. Thank you so kindly for being here. Welcome aboard, Tiaula Wilson. Welcome aboard, Marianne Richards Castiglia. Welcome aboard, Bridge. Paul Fleming, welcome aboard. Bridge, welcome aboard. Para ver. Daniel Ledo, welcome aboard. Heather Ann, welcome aboard. Let's see, who am I missing? Para ver. Tia Marge Z. Arevalo, welcome aboard. Great seeing you. Let's see who else is here. I think I got Heather Ann. Mike Cisak, welcome aboard. Try the truth, Mike. Try the truth. And try to open your mind to the truth as well, my brother. You know you're loved here. That's why we keep everybody here as family. You too, Daniel. Paul Fleming, welcome aboard. Pam Makwa, she says, good show with a thumbs up. That touches the heart. Thank you so kindly. Paul Fleming, welcome aboard. Para ver quién más está aquí. Let's see. Para ver. Who else? Come on, I'm missing somebody. I know I missed a few. Ivan Carroll, my buddy Ivan Carroll. Bernie or bust? No. Realist? Yes. Let me tell you, I want to say a word to my brothers and sisters that are super progressives like I am. You have to win. And nobody is going to give you a win. You have to take a win, which means you have to go out there and work it and do it. And all of us are trying that, and we have a lot of forces pushing against us. But you got to win. And you got to go out there and do it. And don't blame folks for trying to hold on to power. You got to take power away. And when you don't get power the first time, you don't take your marbles and run. You go ahead and you play the hands you got, and you keep moving forward. Period. Punto final. Evan, I know how your background is the apocalypse and you're telling people to vote for Biden. Nailed it. Yes, that's what I'm saying, sir. So I mean, putting that sarcastic thing out there doesn't stop that I'm saying exactly what you just said. Yes, I agree. Okay, let's see, my friends. I won't use a dirty word that you're using, Brother Carol, but that's okay. Let's see who else is here. Rose Williams. Hi, Rose. I grew up in Queens, and all the local working Joes were aware of what a con man he was. He was always doing terrible things, the hard work. Yeah, I know. He doesn't pay them. He asks them to do work, and he's not willing to pay. So right. Nanetta Bird Smith, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Thank you so kindly for being here. Kiba Mitchell, welcome aboard. Bruce. Hey, Bruce. This is the first time I'm seeing you here. Guess what, Bruce? I went ahead and I mentioned you a couple of times in the show because I was giving your tenet. Vote in person if you can. I added a little thing. Only vote by mail if you can't vote in person. Ashley Mosley, ¿cómo estás, mi hermana? Love Ashley. Ashley, I featured Ashley on a piece out of, we were at Starbucks. Ashley's doing some great work. Thank you, Ashley, because you are the kind of millennials I love to see out there busting their butts as you do. Mike Cisak says, people from blue states like New York, California, Illinois are fleeing to red states like Texas, Florida. I wonder why. You know why? Because the prices are going up like hell in real estate. And who control real estate? The plutocrats. That's why they're moving. They're not moving because they have because they don't like their great health care. They're moving because they cannot afford to live there. And why can't they afford to live there? Because the plutocrats are doing exactly what they're going to do in Texas and Florida as more people move here. Hey, Norman Reynolds, how are you doing? So, you know, I love when the Republicans and the conservatives use that. Why are all those people from blue states moving to red states? Because the red states are cheap. And the plutocrats are driving the prices up elsewhere, so we follow the money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But guess what that means, though? You guys don't realize it's suicide. Because as those people from these blue states come over here, they want blue states policies. And that's why Texas is going to be blue this year. That is why Georgia is going to be blue this year. That's why Florida is going to be blue this year. You see? You guys don't get it. I wish you would think more than just what's in front of your face, right, my brothers and sisters? Do what you see all these people in the room like Norman Reynolds, Rose Williams, Ashley Mosley. Who am I missing that really has, that thinks through different levels of indirection? We have a lot of people here that think through several different levels of indirection. Try that. You'll be surprised how great it feels as you expand your horizon. Folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you so kindly for spending this time with me. I really appreciate your eyes. I really appreciate you being here. I really ask you to go to Amazon and get It's Worth It. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. Please bring us up into the... Let's make another step. Let's get to the top 50. Okay, let's make to the top 50. And then, after that, after we're done there, we'll get into the top 10, and then we'll get into the top 1. So, folks, go get the book. Thank you so kindly for spending this time with me. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out! I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel, and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.